Yeah, dude. Let's roll right in, dude. So you guys might have heard, but RDJ is Doom.
Big reveal,
Doom,
big reveal this
dude.
weekend at the
Huge,
Comic-Con. Now,
dude.
how do you feel
Huge
about it?
reveal. Well, dude, like just to set the table a bit. I mean, I guess this was something I've heard mixed stories on this. That this is something that's not random off the cuff, and that they've been prepping for this going as far back as like November, when all the Jonathan Major stuff with Kang was kind of hitting its stride, and they realized they might need to pivot from that and get into something else. So this is a surprise to fandom. I guess it was a fairly well kept secret, because you can see by the reaction, if you guys watch some of the other like the announcement trailer itself, like people were shocked in the audience. They brought some dude out in a green cloak, had the mask on, nobody knew what the hell was going on, and boom, mask comes off, and it's Robert Downey Jr., effing Iron Man, but not, because we'll talk about that. So I mean, people were surprised, and I thought that was cool. Like, it was nice to see fandom re-energized from Marvel, even if it was just for a quick second after Deadpool and Wolverine gave it a big old shot in the arm. You know what I mean? So I was down for that, for seeing it. Dude, I don't this might be one of those things, man. It might be you having to talk me off of a little bit of a ledge. I'm not standing on the ledge, but I'm getting in the elevator. I'm going up. You know what I mean? I'm heading up to the roof. I don't know, the further I get away from the announcement, if I like it as much as when that initial shock wore off. I am down for actors playing more than one character. Like, that's okay with me. But it needs to just be he's just doing another job. Like, I know you and I talked briefly, and you can talk more about that, in a second, that there are multiple arcs in print where, Doom becomes Iron Man becomes Doom. They do the Freaky Friday thing a couple of times for different reasons, or they stand in each other's role for whatever reason. I don't ever know if it happened in their timeline proper. I'm not sure if that matters in the 616 in movies. I don't think people will be confused unless they go one of those routes and they try to make it a Freaky Friday situation, and not just put RDJ in a new costume, in a mask, voice modulator, and just let him cook as Doom. Like, I'm very mixed, man. What do you think, though? Talk to me, Goose.
So what I think is that this is a blatant show of how desperate Marvel is right now to get things back on track. So you kind of have to bring back your home run hitters. You got to bring that victory lap, and it's he's making like 80 million a movie for 2 movies or something like that.
80 million with points on the back end. Like, this dude's getting paid stupid, plus perks that you might not even heard about. I heard like it's built into the contract that the private jet, no matter what, private entourage staff, like trailer compound accommodations. Like, his family's gonna be on vacation with him apparently while they shoot these bitches.
Yeah, and
not the family movies.
Now the thing is that he had these same accommodations while shooting Infinity Wars and stuff like that. It just continues on.
It must be bigger and nicer. Yeah, I was led to believe it was a big deal that it was bigger and nicer. But the 80 mil is nuts. Points on the back end is rare in Hollywood now, from my understanding. Like, that's a Tom Cruise only kind of thing at this point. Like, Disney and Lucasfilms and Warner Brothers and all the big shooting houses, they've moved away from that as a practice. They front load money up front, destroy their budgets, and then they hope for the best. The 80 mil, good God, this dude is not hurting for change. Not hurting.
Now,
my God, though.
With this, now we do know that the whole phase 4, phase 5, and now going into phase 6, where this would be wrapping up, it's going to be a 3-phase setup for which would be 2 Avengers movies in 2026 and 2027. Doomsday, which was this announced, that was the Robert Downey Jr. announcement, and then Secret Wars, which you can't have Secret Wars without Dr. Doom. You just can't.
Without Doom.
It's required, because Doom is one of the central focus points in that storyline. Now, what I do see what they're doing, and because of the not so well received multiverse type stories, that the Secret Wars will be the end of the multiverse, as it was in the Secret Wars 2015 comic book edition. Now, as we know, that Marvel has not taken any type of story arc directly from a comic book. They took a little from over here, they take a little from over here, and then they make a storyline. Like, they don't have a direct following of a particular story. So what I think they're going to do is they're going to take the original 1985 story as well as the 2015 story and kind of blend it together, which this will mark the end of the multiverse. And it's going to be the end of this three-phase story that they told. And what they'll lead into will be the mutant era, where we'll start getting X-Men after that one, because you kind of need some of the X-Men if they're going to stay true to the Secret Wars story, which out of Secret Wars, we're going to get some really cool stuff. If you actually followed or read the 1985 version, this is where Peter Parker gets his symbiote suit, was in Secret Wars, first appearance of the symbiote.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. It does go back into the 80s and not the 90s. You're absolutely right about that. Dude, that totally shot right by me, because that's a big deal as they start to act on the acquisitions that they made in getting Fox a gazillion years ago now.
Yeah,
like they really are trying to bring it all home under the umbrella. Okay,
and that's what you can really link to. Like, I saved some of this stuff for today from our review. Is that the whole Fox? And they talked about like the end. If you haven't seen it yet, sorry, spoilers.
Dude, it's out for 4 days. Come on, if you haven't seen it, you're not doing yourself any favors, dude. Spoil away, brother. Do it.
So it's all about his timeline ending, which marks the end of the Fox universe, which is they said that was Earth 10005. Is his universe, and it's ending, which is marking the end of that story, because it was bought out by Disney.
By Disney.
So this is what they're going to do, is they're taking all the different IPs that they bought so they could bring Marvel back under one umbrella. And then, of course, the joint with the Sonyverse, the Sony Spider-Verse, which I'm pretty much going to start calling the Spider Villain Verse, because that's pretty much other movies.
You were calling it Venom Verse last year. Are you changing it now?
Yeah, it's Villain Verse. It's the Villain Verse. Because I mean, you have
Winter Wolf's End first.
You have Venom, you have Morpheus, you have Craven coming out. They're trying to make a Doc Ock solo movie. They have a couple other minor characters doing some solo movies. They're all rumored right now, but there was some of the stuff they're talking about. Plus, Into the Spider-Verse.
They've always wanted to do Sinister Six. Like they've had a hard on for that for like 10 years.
Which you know what I mean? Totally should have.
And they should. Dude, Mr. Sinister, win. Scorpion, win. Yeah, dude, like bring these guys on, but do it the right way. But anyways, continue.
Yeah. So to tie this all together is that they're going to take these different cinematic universes that Disney bought and put on one umbrella, and that's what's going to create Battle World. And that's where that's where Secret Wars takes up, and that's what Doom is going to do. And I believe Doom will be the post-credit scene of Fantastic Four, which is going to launch this whole story arc into Battle World. And I think that's where the Thunderbolts are going to come in as well, which they did talk about that at Comic-Con, which they just pretty much brought out the cast. There's no trailer, which I think they're saving for D23, which is next week.
They do have a showcase that's coming up. Dude, I'm glad you mentioned Thunderbolts right there, because I just wanted to get your quick take on, we know Captain America 4 has been reshot like 9 times. We know Thunderbolts has had some work done on it. Do you think that a lot of this most recent work may be retroactively to build in the tie-ins that they need to pivot away from Kang and over to Doom with RDJ? Do you think that's kind of the point of some of the most recent updates to these films?
That's one of the things I do believe. Like, I believe the beginning of Doomsday will be the Council of Kangs, and then Doom coming in and killing all of them and taking the power. And then that's what's going to start Doomsday.
Okay. Yo, that would be awesome. That's honestly what I wanted from Deadpool at the beginning of this movie, where he just shows up and murks the TVA, because I hate them. Like, I wanted that, but if I can get Doom doing that on a supervillain level to other supervillains, awesome.
Kind of like when they finally showed Thanos by himself. Like he totally smashes the Asgardians.
Dude, he beats the piss out of the Hulk in like the first
and
tortures
Thor and kills Loki.
Right, dude. Yeah, no, he was savage villain. But like you said, there was lead ups into him, with the glance over the shoulder that we were talking about yesterday, and then finally I'll do it myself, and they show the gauntlet and the cinching up and shit. So I mean, there's stuff there. But dude, tell me about your take on like how I answer. Like, what do you think about RDJ being the guy they tapped? Is this a total cop out? Should it have been Glenn Powell or somebody else that's younger, older, newer, different? I don't know. What do you think about that specifically?
I think they're using RDJ as he's going to be a variant of the where he was actually born and raised as Victor Von Doom in his world. And he gets tossed into 616 as we saw that the Fox cinematic universe was dying. He's in another timeline that's dying, and he escaped on his own. Sure. That's why he kills the Council of Canes, is because he needs this power to jump from his dying world to a thriving world where he's going to become the master villain.
I'm with that, as long as they don't make the mistake. I think that they have to tread very carefully with this character, because the Tony Stark character rates up here with fans of this franchise. You know what I mean? If they go stepping all over Tony's sacrifice and try to reinstall a new Tony, there's an element of imposter syndrome that's going to come from that. I don't want them to be any, as I said in my my Deadpool analysis video, that this world doesn't need any lowered stakes than what you get recently from Marvel Phase 4 and 5. Like, something needs to stick. You know what I mean? Like, Scarlett Johansson Black Widow needs to stay dead. That Tony Stark needs to stay dead until a writer very cleverly finds a way to say, hey, you know, we never actually showed you Tony's body. We had the arc reactor in a plaque at the end of Endgame, but, you know, Stark Tech Time Stone brings him back, a la Buffy the Vampire Slayer from the series, and he doesn't want to come back. You know what I mean? But he's pressed into service as a hero. Like, there's an angle there that I would like. I just don't want them to swap him out for a variant that means nothing to the 616. See, I'm nervous about that.
That's the thing I think it's going to play into, is the heartstrings of the Avengers who survived, and they're going to see him thinking it's Tony, and it's really Victor Von Doom.
Cool. All right.
I think that could be a big heartstring pull.
Oh, dude, I think the minute this dude shows up on, if he takes the mask off in the movie, which he should not, let's be honest, they're
not the first one.
Another hate. Right. I mean, at a reveal later in the closeout moments as he's dying or something, fine. But that these guys are cruising for a Halo level beating, if they're just like, hey, look, the mask. Oh, wait, no mask. Like, no. Come on, dude. We have recent history that shows why we don't do that.